sat here at AutoCon 1 and I watched Stein's presentation and I said to myself, it really must suck to follow that guy. 6 months later, here we are. All right, my name is Joseph Nicholson. I'm here to talk to you about network automation and baby steps. I work for NTT Data. I'm part of the Global IP Network division, and I'm a network operations engineer. A little bit about myself. I've been with NTT Data for about 17 years. I started out in the NOC. I worked my way all the way up, and now I'm in operations. Day to day, I'm supposed to be focusing on the long-term health of the network and making sure it doesn't fall down in about 6 months. Currently, I'm specializing in network automation with Python and Ansible. A little bit about our network. We got a lot of data center guys and enterprise guys here. I wanted to kind of make sure that you guys understood what a transit service provider network kind of looks like. We only have about 275 routers on the network. That's not a lot compared to most of you guys. Right now we're supporting 1 gig, 100 gig, or I'm sorry, 1 gig, 10 gig, 100 gig, and 400 gig interfaces. I took these numbers about 3 weeks ago. I got curious last night because I couldn't sleep, and our 400 gig count is up to about 795. We're in the middle of a rollout, so we're pushing out a lot of ports. So you can see how we're increasing pretty quickly. Right now we support in the network on the routing side, Cisco, Juniper, and Nokia. On the DWDM side, we do Fujitsu and Cisco. Our network is in about 26 countries spread across 5 continents. So this is a very large footprint on a global scale here. The project I'm going to talk about today is a little bit of data collection project. I wanted to learn how to pull data out of the routers. Okay, I started learning Python about 7 years ago, and I wanted to learn how to interface with the routers that I have to work on every day and make my life just a little bit easier. Sometimes we need stats based on issues. Sorry, let me step back. We have a stats system, we have a stats team. That team manages that system, and it's a bunch of basic interface stats, QoS stats, so on and so forth, day-to-day stuff. On the operational side, sometimes we have issues, and we need to pull data points to figure out how bad those issues are, how widespread they may be. Sometimes we just get curious about what the network looks like. So this project was designed with that in mind, and to just basically write a bunch of pollers and figure out how those work. You know, some of the things I'm pulling, route table counts on all the ribs across the network. You can notice config database sizes, router config sizes. You know, for us, that's really important. We get really big configs sometimes. And a few other data points. All this data is collected, it is formatted, and it is sent to our large data storage using Kafka. This project started about 2021, so about 3 years ago. I started out very basic using information that Kirk Byers put out there with netmiko and textfsm, and using the Confluent Kafka Python module. Working with my stats team to figure out how to format all that properly. And then I ran these pollers under my own crontab on the server we use to interface with all the routers. I know, that's not great. Don't worry. It gets better. I figure it out. About a year later, I did a lot of advocation for getting off screen scraping and going into using Netconf. I kind of got the sense that Netconf was going to help me later with some of the other things I wanted to do. So I put together a project. I got the permission. I put together a project, and I did a lot of testing and a lot of template updates. And we pushed Netconf across the network and got that enabled properly. I also moved them into a role, it says generic user account, but a role user account. So they're all polling from crontab there. And then I started experimenting with Gitlab CI/CD pipelines to package the scripts into a Debian package and put it into the repo that we have on the network for packages. And the SAS team's Puppet instance will come along every hour, pick up a new version, and go install it on the server for me. So everything kind of gets deployed in a more automatic fashion, as opposed to me just updating scripts and moving them wherever. A little bit of time went by. I went off and did fun things like learned how to use Ansible to go upgrade routers and stuff, and finally came back to it not too long ago. This version is still a little bit in progress, but I wanted to kind of learn how to use Python to asynchronously collect data or contact routers and collect data off of them. Up until this point, those scripts have been running one router at a time, and it is very slow. And I'm getting tired of looking at router data in 15-minute snapshots, because that's how long it took to get across the network. So using Asyncio, I had a friend of mine who was really pestering me to figure it out because he's had excitement learning how to use it. So I sat down with ChatGPT one Friday night and said, hey, let me spend a couple hours and see how this goes. I had the script working in like 30 minutes, so that was a really quick night. It works really well. Some of the scripts I was working with went from like polling 7 minutes total to 20 seconds, so I think it worked out okay. I also started experimenting using GitLab pipelines to initiate the scripts for me and to go pull the data off the routers. I once again started working with learning how to create custom Docker images for this, set up a GitLab runner for the operations team. That took a little bit of doing because that runner's got to touch the network, and we got to make sure that's secure, and we don't let everybody willy-nilly do whatever they want across the network. So, because you know, we have to open up ACLs for those IPs and stuff. And I've been working with that for a little while now, and I'm starting to think maybe that's not the best place for this type of poller, but I'm having some issues with it. But you know, I'm still experimenting and I'm learning, and that's what we're all doing here, right? Is we're just trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. So quickly, I'm going to go over a few lessons that I've learned from this whole process. When we put together the last 3 years holistically, I learned quite a bit here. You know, in Python, I learned textfsm, I learned netmiko, I learned Confluent Kafka. Asyncio is not on there, but I learned a little bit of that. I probably learned a lot more than I don't remember, so apologies. I also learned about Netconf. I learned how to deploy Netconf. I learned how to use Netconf in Python. GitLab side of things, I learned how to work with repositories much better than I had done before. I learned about working with pipelines. I learned about making Debian packages. You know, I learned about building Docker images and storing them in GitLab's project container registry. You know, things like that. So. And I also learned a lot of patience in this process, because a lot of this is kind of frustrating, and a lot of this is really hard to learn when you just don't know what's going on and you don't have anybody to guide you. Another thing I learned is I tried to start out doing a little bit of everything and just like knowing I need to do this, 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 and this in each script. And I found myself trying to go from A to Z almost immediately, and that was really, really hard and frustrating. And what I did is I stepped back and I made an outline of the script and what it needed to do, or each script and what they needed to do. And then I decided I'm going to just go to code one thing on this outline, and that's it. And then I picked another and another and another. And so basically I did everything in baby steps, just one thing at a time. Take your time, and it's fine. You'll get it done in the end. I've heard this a lot from presentations, Scott this morning and a few other people the last couple of days. I'm going to reiterate, sorry, that was an easy one, I shouldn't have done that, that it's okay to iterate on your scripts over time. You don't have to do everything all at once. Take your time, do the thing that you can get done, get it done, it's easy, knock it out the door, and then go do something else. Step away from it. You're going to go learn new things. When you learn new things, come back to that later and say, hey, I can apply this that I learned to this thing over here. And just do a new version. Sometimes things will fail, and that's okay. That's how you're going to learn. Everything, you know, it's not going to go perfectly the first time. And sometimes things are going to work better than others. You're going to have 5 ways to do it, and one way is going to work better for you, may work better for me, or a different way will work better for me. But don't be afraid of those failures, and you know, don't throw away what doesn't work. you may be able to use it somewhere else. So that's all I have for today, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.